The historian Martin Marty once said that people who have strong convictions are often not very civil, and people who are civil often do not have strong convictions. Now, Richard, I know enough about you to know that you don't see things quite that way. Say a little bit about what it looks like to have strong convictions and to be someone committed to civility.
Yeah. Well, I think Martin Marty was right empirically. I mean, I think it is the case that a lot of people who have strong convictions just aren't very civil.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people who are civil precisely because they don't have very strong convictions. But I don't think it has to be that way. And I think especially in the Christian world, very often the kinds of Christians that many of us would identify with in the evangelical world are pretty far removed from convicted civility, as Martin Marty would describe it. Yeah. But I do think that there's a biblical mandate. I was raised in the evangelical world where we were constantly being told, 1 Peter 3, always be ready to give to anyone who asks of you a reason for the hope that lies within you. Stand up for the truth. Know what you believe. Yeah. But seldom did they go on to the next part of the verse, which says, but do so with gentleness and reverence. And what does it mean to disagree with someone? And in that disagreement, treat them with gentleness and with reverence. And to me, that's the challenge. And so it isn't so much that we have our biblical convictions and then we got to try to be civil, but the Bible itself mandates a conviction about civility, and that is the honoring of other human beings, which I think is very important. So
yes. So the things we are committed to, at the very core of our convictions, the idea of love, treating the neighbor with love, draws us into civility. Yeah. It's a natural connection.
Yeah. Even in Peter's first epistle, where at another point he says that we ought to fear the Lord, we ought to love the brothers and sisters in the faith, agape love, and we ought to honor the emperor. And then he says, but honor all human beings, and that honoring of all human beings. And the important thing for thinking about the spiritual dimensions of that is that how do we bring ourselves to a point where we actually engage in that kind of honoring, that kind of reverence and gentleness toward other human beings? And I think that's a big challenge for us today, because a lot of our spirituality has been a spirituality of confrontation and combat, warfare. Yeah. And it's important to think in very different terms, because I think the Bible tells us to.